Hey, thanks for joining me today. We're going to make a Portuguese style pizza. In this pizza, I take components from the islands of Portugal and the mainland. So for the crust, we're going to make the Bolo de Caco. It's the same recipe I use for the Bolo de Caco recipe from Madeira Island. São Jorge cheese from the Azores. I'm going to use cloves that is seen throughout Portugal, collard greens. This is the vegetable that's famous in the caldo verde from northern Portugal. Linguiça, this company, Silva Sausage, has been in the Bay Area since 1967, started by a Portuguese immigrant, and is still made in Gilroy, California, about an hour south of San Francisco. Some bay leaves. So we'll get started making our dough. The Bolo de Caco always gets sweet potato in there. I'm going to cook some sweet potato. We need about a half cup of pureed white sweet potato. Cube it up because we're going to boil this. So I'm going to get the yeast started. Ideally, you want it to be between like 115 and 105. Yeast is a living organism, and when it's around that temperature, it's going to have a quicker start. And all this is kind of the art of cooking. I highly recommend cooking bread, starting them like the night before. Like you could start this night before with colder ingredients, just put it in your fridge and just let it slowly ferment in your fridge for 8 to 12 hours. So it really is just dependent on how fast you want it to go. Put a pinch of sugar, just a little over a half a teaspoon of yeast, which is about half a packet. The little bit of sugar is just to give the yeast something to feed on. Potatoes you want to cook until they're extremely soft, almost falling apart. Especially in this recipe, I think I am going to put them through like a sieve, because you don't want any chunks in the pizza dough. If you're just making Bolo de Caco, you know, if you have a few slightly bigger pieces of potato, it's not going to make a difference. But here I think we want a smooth, elastic dough, so when we're stretching it out, it doesn't develop any holes. Now we're just going to drain out the water. I'm going to load my sweet potatoes in the ricer. So either just use a hand masher or a ricer. If you want to see another recipe where I use linguiça, check out my Portuguese quiche. So now we just want a half cup of pureed potatoes. So I just have my half cup measurement, scoop that out. And this cup is the yeast that's been hydrating with a pinch of sugar. I'm going to mix in the mashed potatoes into here and just try to mix it up a little bit, mainly so it incorporates well into the bread. Just kind of making a slurry out of this potato yeast mixture. You don't have to do this, but I think it just makes it easier to make sure the potatoes evenly get worked into the dough. Or fermentation, I should say, is extremely dependent on temperature. So my house right now is at 73 degrees, which isn't bad. A lot of times if I'm baking bread in the winter, I use these barbecue thermometers that have probes, and I'll put one probe in the dough so I know the temperature of the dough. Ideally, you want it to be about 80 degrees for fairly quick fermentation. And then I'll turn on my oven just for about a minute, then turn it off and put this in the oven. And the other probe I'll just leave hanging out in the oven so I know the temperature of the oven. The temperature of the oven, you're kind of making a cheap proof box. A proof box is something to use in bakeries that has the ideal temperature for proofing bread. So you can make like your own by turning on the oven for just about a minute, turning it off. And you want your oven temperature to be about 80 to 90 degrees. More on the 80 degree side, and you definitely don't want it getting above 100. So I added 1 teaspoon of salt to the flour. A lot of times I will use a scale to weigh out flour. It is the ideal way to do it, but it's just so uncommon with most home cooks. You know, we might have to play around with the flour a little bit to get the consistency right, just because we're not using precise measurements. I'm going to let this flour hydrate for about 10 minutes. It just gives a chance for the flour to fully absorb the water, and then I'll go back to kneading for a few minutes. Okay, the dough has been hydrating for about 5 minutes. Just makes it a little more workable, and it's just slightly wet. You see how it's sort of sticking to the bottom of the plate there? And it's sticking to my fingers, leaving some residue dough on my finger. Pizza dough you generally want to be a little on the it has a little less hydration, so I'll work in a little more flour. Depending on water content of your potatoes, it will affect the hydration of your dough. So just kind of work in all that. I probably added another 2 tablespoons of flour. It feels like a little tacky on my hand, like I could feel like a little stick, but nothing is sticking to my hands. It could slightly stick to the plate, but you don't want it like pulling up the plate. You don't want it leaving dough behind on the plate when you pick it up. And your hands, if you could see, like it feels like, you know, sticky tape. When I pull my fingers, it's not pulling the dough with it. So I'll let this dough rest for an additional 5 minutes, then knead it some more. Now I'll do a couple kneading moves. Put it in this container. Don't be a slave to your bread. This is something you could start the night before or first thing in the morning. All right, our dough has been bulk fermenting for about 4 hours. The average temperature was about 72 degrees, I would say. If it was fermented at about 80 degrees, it would probably go an hour faster. It easily could have gone for another hour or two, no problem. That's, again, why I like to start at night, and that way it's super easy to slow down the dough. You just put it in the refrigerator and the fermentation slows down probably like 90%. So I'll cut this in half. Kind of form it into a ball. Now we have our dough portioned out. So now I'm going to put these in a bowl covered and let them proof for another 2 hours in a bowl with a little bit of olive oil. This is strictly, the olive oil is strictly just so it won't stick to the glass bowl. Now we're going to make our pizza sauce. So I'm going to put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in the pan, maybe about a tablespoon. Add in 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to add in 4 bay leaves. That seems like a lot, but it's not steeping or cooking for many hours the way you would do it for a cozido or a feijoada or an alcatra. So since it's only going to be there a while, I'm going to put in a decent amount of bay leaves. If you don't have access to fresh bay leaves, using oregano would be fine in this also. Now I'm going to slice up the cloves or collard greens very thin, the same way you would for a caldo verde. Then I'll add in my shredded collard greens. Add in a little salt, fresh black pepper. I'm going to add in about 1.5 cups of tomato puree. I'll let this simmer for about 10 minutes, then take it off the heat and just let it sit until the pizza dough is ready. You can easily do this sauce a few days ahead of time. And now I'm going to slice up the linguiça into coin shapes. Next, grate the queijo São Jorge. Right now we're going to put some olive oil on the cookie sheet pan. And now I'll put a little bit of flour on my hands just so the dough won't stick there. Oh, that just feels so nice and soft. So now with pizza dough, you want to press down and kind of out to keep that rim going. You want to use the flat parts of your hand or your palm to stretch out the pizza dough. You never want to press down with your fingers. Now that there's kind of a rim there, you kind of use the rim is what you're working with. It'll just naturally stretch out down the middle. So again, as you can see, I'm just pushing like where the rim is, and the middle will just naturally stretch out. My oven is preheating to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we have our pizza sauce. If you see the bay leaf, you want to take that out. My linguiça. Oh, look at that, huh? Smells so good. Cheio de bem, cheio de Lisboa. Now I'll garnish. I have a little bit of a parsley leaf. You could also use basil. Obviously, it would be delicious in here. Thanks for joining me. Now you could cook Portuguese pizza. Give this a try. Now go out and cook with someone you love.